Hello, check. Hello, hello. Mic testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, check. Hello, hello.
Slide.
Half check, all mic test 1, 2, 3.
Hello. 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 Good afternoon, students. I request you all to please settle down. The program will start shortly, in maybe another 5 minutes.
Thank you for your patience. Good afternoon to one and all. I, Sanjay Gorur, welcome you all to this inaugural function of World Space Week 2023. World Space Week aims to strengthen the link between space and society through public education, participation, and dialogue. World Space Week is celebrated worldwide between 4th and 10th of October every year. In line with the global events, URSC brings to you this outreach program with the theme of space and entrepreneurship. Such efforts are made with aims to inculcate a passion for space science in young minds and entrepreneurs. To begin with, I request you all to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मागे, गाहे तव जय गाथा। जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे, जय 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 हे।
Now I request Sri H.N. Suresh Kumar, Chairman of Organizing Committee, World Space Week 2023, to accompany our Director URSC, Chief Guest Professor Navkant Bhatt, and Controller URSC onto the dais. Yes, you're free to applaud, it's okay. It is our tradition to appeal to the higher self for removing obstacles hindering success. For the success of this function, I would like to request Srimati Ashwini to invoke the blessings of the Almighty.
ಬಾಬೆನಕ ಪೂಜಿಸುವೆ ಬಾನಿನಗೆ ಕಡುಬೀವೆ ಎಡರುಗಳ ತೋಡರುಗಳ ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಪಾಡಯ್ಯ ಬಾಬೆನಕ ಪೂಜಿಸುವೆ ಬಾನಿನಗೆ ಕಡುಬೀವೆ ಎಡರುಗಳ ತೋಡರುಗಳ ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಪಾಡಯ್ಯ ಋಷಭವಿರೆ ಸಿಂಹವಿದೆ ಇಲಿಯನೇರಿದೆ ಏಕೆ ಮನ್ಮನೋರಥವೇರಿ ಸಂಚರಿಸೋ ಗಣಪಯ್ಯ ಋಷಭವಿರೆ ಸಿಂಹವಿದೆ ಇಲಿಯನೇರಿದೆ ಏಕೆ ಮನ್ಮನೋರಥವೇರಿ ಸಂಚರಿಸೋ ಗಣಪಯ್ಯ ಸೊಂಡಿಲಿಗೆ ತಂದೀವೆ ಉಂಡಲಿಯ ಮೋದಕವಾ ಸೊಂಡಿಲಿಗೆ ತಂದೀವೆ ಉಂಡಲಿಯ ಮೋದಕವಾ ಉಂಡು ಕರುಣಿಸು ಎನ್ನ ಸಂತ ಭಕ್ತಿಯೊಳಿಂದು ಬಾಬೆನಕ ಪೂಜಿಸುವೆ ಬಾನಿನಗೆ ಕಡುಬೀವೆ ಎಡರುಗಳ ತೋಡರುಗಳ ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಪಾಡಯ್ಯ ಎಡರುಗಳ ತೋಡರುಗಳ ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಕಾಪಾಡಯ್ಯ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thanks, Srimati Ashwini, for the melodious rendition. Leadership is the capacity to translate a vision into reality. And this is exactly what our committee chairman, Shri H.N. Suresh Kumar, has delivered. He has been the driving force in deploying multiple teams to different parts of Karnataka as part of the World Space Week celebrations. I request you, sir, to welcome the gathering. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Sanjay. Respected Director URSC, Sri M. Shankaran, Dr. Navkant Bhatt, Professor, Center for Nanoscience and Engineering, IISc, chief guest for today's function, Srimati Anjali Ellis Shankar, Controller, URSC, URSC Council members, my colleagues, and beloved student friends. A very pleasant good afternoon to you all. We have assembled here for the inaugural program of the week-long World Space Week 2023 celebrations. It is actually an international celebration for science and technology and its contribution to the betterment of human living. It is celebrated from 4th to 10th of October every year, commemorating actually two important events. First one, the launch of first artificial satellite Sputnik 1 on October 4th, 1957, opening the way for space exploration. And the second important event, signing of the Treaty on Exploration and Peaceful Uses of Outer Space on October 10th, 1967. So World Space Week is a worldwide activity conducted by the different space agencies, aerospace companies, schools, planetaria, museums, and astronomy clubs around the world in a common time frame and adopting a common theme also. The theme for current year's celebration is very apt as of today, space and entrepreneurship. At our center, Inaugural Satellite Center, we do celebrate World Space Week with the aim of providing unique leverage in space outreach and education, exciting the young people about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and introduce them to this excitement and opportunities offered by the space science. Towards this, we have planned good number of activities over the next 1 week. Mainly, few of them I'll just enumerate here. Student outreach programs at select 8 locations spread over Karnataka. 4 identified teams from URSC are visiting these places and conduct different events, including lectures, competitions, display of exhibits, standees, etc. We provide an insight into space science through Space on Wheels exhibition. This is an initiative and we have planned it at 3 locations in Karnataka. Conduct of space quiz program by URSC. The children in the morning today, they felt this. Along with the satellite-based ham radio communication techniques, and conduct of space quiz program by URSC in association with All India Radio FM Rainbow 101.3 megahertz on every day between 3 to 4 p.m. during 4th to 10th October 2023 with a preamble provided by senior executives of URSC about the current activities. So for the inaugural function today, it gives me immense pleasure to introduce and welcome our chief guest for the today's function, Professor Navakant Bhatt. He is the Dean of Division of Interdisciplinary Sciences and Professor at the Center of Nanoscience and Engineering at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. His research activities are focused on nanoelectronics, device technology, biosensors for point-of-care diagnosis, and gas sensors for pollution monitoring. Sir, we are indeed privileged to have you amidst us. On behalf of all of us present here, a hearty welcome to you, sir, for today's program. I request Sri Veeresh to welcome Professor Bhatt with a sapling. The chief guiding force behind our World Space Week celebrations has been our beloved director, Sri M. Shankaran. He has been with us right from planning stage of the program and has guided us towards the smooth conduct of the event. In spite of his busy schedules, he is present here with us today and he is presiding over the inaugural function today. On behalf of everyone present here, I extend a very hearty welcome to you, sir. I request Sri N.S. Murali to welcome Director, sir, with a sapling. Srimati Anjali Ellis Shankar, Controller URSC, has been a constant source of inspiration and support and guidance in all our activities. She is present with us and has consented to award the prize winners in the student competition held today. Hearty welcome to you, madam, for today's program. I request Srimati Anuradha Prakash to present Controller madam with a sapling. I take this opportunity to welcome all our URSC council members, senior colleagues and friends attending this program in auditorium here, and also those who have joined us in virtual mode through webcast. Our guests today include nearly 300 school children accompanied by their respective teachers. They have joined us from different schools around. A heartfelt welcome to you all for today's program. With this, I conclude. Thank you everyone. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, Shri Suresh Kumar, for enlightening us about the importance of World Space Week celebrations and URSC's contributions towards the cause. Thanks for formally welcoming everyone to this function. I'd like to call upon Shri Yudhishthir to welcome Shri H.N. Suresh Kumar with a sapling. The lamp of learning shines brightest when it illuminates the minds of others. As a symbolic tradition, I request the dignitaries on stage to inaugurate the function by lighting the ceremonial lamp. Thank you all. Some leaders instill in their people a hope for success and a belief in themselves. The man I am talking about needs no introduction. He is an inspiration to all of us in URSC and the guiding force behind not only the success of our spacecrafts, but also our public outreach efforts. Without his constant guidance and support, this function would not have been possible at the grand scale to which we are all witness. It is my pleasure and privilege to invite our beloved director, Sri Shankaran M., to deliver the presidential address.
Thank you, Sanjay. Good afternoon to all dear children. Respected Professor Bhatt, the dignitaries on the dais, and all my colleagues and the teachers who have accompanied the students. Good afternoon to all of you, and I wish you all a very happy World Space Week. I don't know, World Space Week, what is there to be happy? Is there something to be happy to be in World Space Week? Very happy when Chandrayaan 3 was launched? Yes, very happy when the Chandrayaan 3 landed on moon? Yes, why you are happy?
Because India is on moon.
Okay. So what is there to be happy about because India is on moon? Okay. So it is a pleasure for you. Now because of that, what you children are going to do in future? Nothing, is it? Enjoy for a week? The idea of making this kind of missions like Chandrayaan 3 is to do some scientific research, to collect some data for scientific research. That is one reason. Other reason is making children like you to get interested in science, mathematics, engineering, technology, all these areas, to make children like you to get interested. How many of you are interested in science and mathematics? So less than 50%. Okay, not bad. Not bad, because everybody cannot be studying only science and engineering. Some people have to study science, some people have to study engineering, some people have to study arts, somebody has to study commerce. All subjects are required. But one of the reason for doing missions like Chandrayaan is to create interest in students and the young community of this country, that we should take up our education very seriously. It is not that only ISRO and only Chandrayaan successfully landing on moon is the only success. There are lot of other things that have to happen, that are happening. There are many more things that have to happen. All that will happen only when children like you take interest in your education. Can somebody tell why we should get educated? Why? Now you are all in school. After finishing school, you will go to either plus 2 or PUC, depending upon wherever you are studying, you will do that. After that, you have to go to college. So you will get a degree from college. With that degree, what you will do? Will degree give you a job? Degree gives what? Knowledge. So the purpose of education is to acquire knowledge. And when you apply the knowledge, when you use the knowledge, you are going to do some productive work, or you are making yourself fit for either doing a job for employment, or you to start a business to give other people employment. Who wants to give other people job, and who wants to go for job themselves? Only those who wants to create jobs, who wants to do business, who want to create industries. Not so many people. Huh? Why hesitant? Okay. It is okay, it is understandable. Everybody cannot do business. Everybody will not have interest in business. But as much as it is important to get a job and earn money by doing a job, it is also important that some people have to create jobs by doing business, creating job opportunities, and giving job to other people. Both are required. So the purpose of conducting the World Space Week like this here in URSC or many other organizations is to create this awareness that there is an area called space. In that domain, there are lot of possibilities to get a job, to do new business, to become rich. Who wants to become doesn't want to become rich? Who doesn't want to become rich? Nobody, no? Everybody wants to become rich. Who knows Elon Musk? So all of you know Elon Musk, no? Who wants to be like Elon Musk? So what you should do if you have to become like Elon Musk? Nobody knows, is it? Hard work. Okay, Elon Musk, as you all know, is a businessman who is doing business in many areas, including batteries they are making electric cars. He was the founder of PayPal. PayPal is something like our Phone Pay or Google Pay, like that, which was started some 20 years back. Electronic fund transfer mechanism, PayPal. He is also running the SpaceX. SpaceX also makes the Starlink satellites. Now, what an entrepreneur like Elon Musk has done to the space industry, anybody knows? He has made space into a viable business. Otherwise, space activity, doing anything in space, launching rockets, making satellites and launching them on the rockets, was a very costly and very risky business, which only government supported agencies like ISRO, NASA were doing. There were other people, private people also, big corporations were doing this, but in a much lower scale. This person made space business as one area where lot of jobs can be generated. So SpaceX employs now thousands of people to make, how many rockets per year SpaceX is launching? Anybody has an idea? More than 100 rockets per year they are launching. That is much more than all other people in the world put together. They are launching that many rockets. So that many satellites are also being. So to do all that, what you need? You require money is required for everything. What is required is you need knowledge and also entrepreneurship. What is called entrepreneurship? That is what is the theme of this year's Space Week. Space and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is an attribute which makes somebody to make a business out of anything. Nobody else would have thought this area we can make a business. But somebody makes a business in that area and makes it successful. That person is called an entrepreneur. So this year's theme of the World Space Week is space and entrepreneurship. So the idea of calling all of you here and conveying to you all this is, don't worry about joining medical college or engineering college or whatever college you are studying. Whichever college you are studying, doesn't matter. Whichever college you may get seat, you will join and study. But you also, if you get an opportunity, develop your skills in whichever area you are studying and try to make most of what you are learning by becoming an entrepreneur. That is, you start a business which does not exist today. If you do that, what is the advantage? Any business who starts first will have maximum benefit. Any of you know about who started the mobile phone company in India first? Mobile phone business? They are all handset makers, what you are telling. There are, today Airtel is the largest company which is giving mobile services in India. But the biggest company which subsequently overtook Airtel was Jio. So what is the difference between Airtel and Jio? Jio, anybody knows? We are all using phones, no? Don't tell lies. Say, Airtel was a conventional business. They started early, that's why they became big company. They had a big market share. That is one way of capturing market and becoming big. Subsequently, Jio came and they gave a completely different, they gave that you buy data, I will give all calls free. So, mobile phone, you buy the phone and you buy the data, all call is free. So, everybody started buying Jio phones. Now that they have become the market leader. This is entrepreneurship. Either you create a new business or create a new tactics in a already existing business. And space is an area in India where there are not many people who are doing business in it. This is an emerging business opportunity in India. So the idea of calling you, all of you here, and talking to you about space and entrepreneurship is that there is one area where all of you, another 10 years, all of you will be ready to do your own business or you go to your own work. Maximum 10 years, all of you will be working. By that time, India will have sufficient opportunity for you, all of you, to get into business in the space area or get into newer and newer jobs. It will not be only ISRO. Today about 150 startup companies are there working in the space area in India. In another 10 years, it will become easily 1,500 companies. So large number of companies are going to be available. So this is one area where lot of opportunity is there to do both business as well as to get into job. But to do all this, what is required? What is required is to study well, particularly in the area of science, mathematics and engineering. Because space business is in need of people in all disciplines of engineering, let it be electronics, mechanical, chemical, any domain of engineering. Mathematics, without mathematics there is no engineering. Without science there is no engineering. So any science subject, mathematics or any engineering subject you study, and you study not for writing your examination at the end of the year. If you study for writing the examination and passing the examination, you are not going to get educated. If you study to know the subject, to understand the subject that is being taught to you by your teachers in schools and colleges subsequently, then that knowledge is going to be available with you for you to use that knowledge while doing work or to create your own business. So that is the purpose of calling you, all of you here. Do well, study with understanding. Do not mug up, do not reproduce what the notes teacher has given to you and write the answer in the examination. Understand the concepts, because next our Professor Bhatt is going to speak. He is a very experienced teacher in the Indian Institute of Science. So he will tell some things about how to study, what is the importance of studying. So on this inaugural day of the World Space Week, let me wish every one of you children who are here that you all study well in your school as well as when you get into college, and learn sufficiently the subjects that are being taught, and even some 10% of you become good science and mathematics and engineering expert. You will be able to make a mark in the area of space, and some of you can even become entrepreneurs in the area of space. Wish you all a very, very happy World Space Week. Thank you for coming here. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir, for raising some foundational questions about the necessity of space missions and their role in shaping the minds of the future generation. I don't know about the students, but you surely made me think about becoming a new space entrepreneur. Thank you, sir. our civilization has given the utmost importance to knowledge and education, and IISc is among the best institutions in the world. Professor Navkant Bhatt is an eminent professor and the Dean at the Center for Nanoscience and Engineering in the Indian Institute of Science. It is indeed a privilege to have such an outstanding personality among us today as the chief guest. I request Dr. Arvind Kumar, Medical Officer at URSC, to introduce the chief guest to the audience.
Good afternoon. It's indeed a great pleasure to welcome Professor Navkant Bhatt on this World Space Week inaugural day. It's a privilege to introduce him also. Professor Navkant Bhatt is presently Dean, Division of Interdisciplinary Sciences and Professor of Center for Nanosciences and Engineering at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So coming to his brief biography, here Navkant Bhatt received his B in Electronics and Communication from SJCE, that's University of Mysore in 1989, and MTech from IIT Mumbai in Microelectronics, and it was in 1992. Later he did a PhD in Electrical Engineering and from Stanford University, California. Then for 3 years he worked with Motorola's networking and computing systems group. In 1999 he came back to India and joined Indian Institute of Science, where he is currently Dean of Division of Interdisciplinary Sciences and also Professor. His current research is focused on nanoelectronics, device technology, biosensors for the point of care diagnosis and gas sensors. So he has around 300 publications in international journals and he has 32 patents. He is instrumental in creating a National Nano Fabrication Center at IISc Bangalore. He is also an elected fellow of IEEE, INAE, IASC, INSA and NASI. He has received several awards. The list is too big. I'll pick out a few of those awards. He has received Dr. Abdul Kalam Technology Innovation National Fellowship in 2018 and also prestigious Infosys Science Awards, and the first edition in 2018 in Engineering and Computer Science. He is also Distinguished Lecturer of IEEE Electron Devices Society. And coming to entrepreneurship, Director Sir also was speaking about this. And our this year's theme is also same thing, space and entrepreneur. Happy to know that Professor Navkant Bhatt is also an entrepreneur. He is a promoter of startup company called Path Shodh Healthcare Private Limited. So basically, they develop first kind of multi-annihilate point of care diagnostic devices for multiple chronic diseases, which will help doctors like us. Point of care, simple, with one drop of blood, they can diagnose many diseases. That's what disease related to anemia, malnutrition, kidney and liver disease, and also in COVID to identify COVID-19 antibodies. For this, Path Shodh has received multiple recognition. So true entrepreneur and very luminaire scientist. We are happy to have you here, sir. Thank you so much.
I request Professor Navkant Bhatt to address the gathering.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Namaskara elrige. Director URSC Shri Shankaran, Controller Mr. Anjali, Suresh Kumar, and other organizers of this event, and all the school children and teachers who have come along with them. It's indeed a pleasure for me to participate in this very unique event, Space Week, the inauguration of this event. Also, before I begin, I want to congratulate all the scientists of URSC, because I'm here in person. for the successful, back-to-back missions, Chandrayaan and Aditya. Director was asking you why should you be happy, right? I think I have not seen any other event other than the World Cup cricket where so many Indians were glued to the television, right? Perhaps more number of Indians were glued to the television to see the successful landing of Vikram lander on unexplored territory of Moon, which is the southern hemisphere, right? That was one of its kind, among the very few countries in the world to have achieved that. Indeed, congratulations to, all scientists of URSC and all other ISRO labs. This is also an amazing thing if you think about it. This is an engineering marvel, right? We talk of science, engineering, then innovation, and then entrepreneurship. Right, of course, today we are celebrating specifically space. All these terms that, I mentioned have inspired human beings from the very beginning. When men and women started walking on the earth several millennia ago, they were wondered, looking at the sky. Of course, in Bangalore, you don't get such a nice vision of the sky today. It's all polluted with, light pollution. But in those days, what is science? Science is all about asking questions, right? Asking questions, why things happen the way things happen, right? Now, looking at the celestial bodies, many people had started asking questions in India and, all around the world, why do these bodies, some of them have their own luminance like stars, but some of them do not have, like planets. What is the origin, right? And why do they move around? Are they moving around, right? These were the fundamental questions, right? That historically, we had the Earth-centric view of the world, right? You have studied all of this in your science books, I believe, right, in your high school. And at that time, scientists and engineers, when you are pursuing this career, today things are much better. But in the past, whenever science is all about, as I said, asking questions and really coming up with, new answers. When these new answers are against the conventional wisdom or the knowledge that was held till then, oftentimes scientists had to go through the persecution, right? You have also studied that, right? We moved from, Earth-centric view and we figured out that, all these planets are actually going around the sun, right? And there are also satellites like Moon that go around the planet, right? So this is, the process of discovery, right? That is essentially the science. Science is about asking questions, learning about what is happening around you. Now, what is engineering and technology all about? Harnessing the knowledge that you have generated from this scientific investigation, from these scientific pursuits, to see whether we can make our lives better, right? That is all about engineering and technology. Again, in the context of space, we started asking questions even before we started thinking about going to the outer space. Can we come up with instruments which help us look at these celestial bodies in much better clarity, right? That led to telescopes, for instance, right? That was essentially, engineering and doing things. You have studied optics as science, right? What are the properties of light, what happens when the light goes through a lens, convex lens, concave lens, all that is science. But now, can I put all these together and create an instrument, such as telescope, which will make us see things better, right? So now that is engineering and technology. You are building things which are helping you to, do things better, live better. There was a question about cell phones. I'm sure all of you use cell phones, right? Cell phones, of course, depend on many scientific principles. One of them is electromagnetics, right? This was also conceived, and this theory of electromagnetics was developed quite some time ago, right? Which essentially says that, all these waves have electrical component and magnetic component, they travel in free space and so on and so forth. But based on that understanding, really thinking about an antenna which can transmit these electromagnetic waves to far distances, and thinking about building a receiver, which can catch these electromagnetic waves and then, amplify them, right, and render that as a picture in your cell phone or a voice in your cell phone. That is engineering and technology, right? You are harnessing the knowledge that is created from science into, something that you can touch, feel, use, and do things better. Right? Now, when we talk of science, engineering, innovation, and value creation, there's a famous, graph that was created. It's called Pasture's quadrant. Imagine a XY graph. I know you have used XY graph to plot things, right? Imagine that x-axis is utility. There is a 0, 0 which is origin, and when you go along the right side of the x-axis, it is utility, meaning how much is it useful. If you go farther down the x-axis, utility is much more, right? Now imagine the y-axis as knowledge, right? When you are at origin, your knowledge is 0. When you start going up and up along the y-axis, you are acquiring more and more knowledge, right? So this is what you have, right? Now if you imagine this, when you are at the bottom left, near the origin, right, your utility is 0, your knowledge is also 0, right? Because we are very close to the origin, right? Now when you go along the vertical direction, which is what is called Bohr's quadrant. Niels Bohr, as you probably know, he really discovered the hydrogen molecule and all the atomic theory that we talk about. And when he was doing that, was he really worried about any application? Do you think he was worried about any application? Not at all, right? He was only driven by curiosity to trying to understand how matter is made, what is an atom, right? What is electron, and so on and so forth, right? So that is called Bohr's triangle, Bohr's quadrant. Now you go along the x-axis farther down, right? And that is called Edison's quadrant, right? You know who is Edison? Who discovered the light bulb? Right? Huh? Yes, Thomas Alva Edison, right? He was an amazing tinkerer. He was an amazing engineer. He was driven by creating utility. Not so much, how things work and all that. Of course, he was also he had a lot of knowledge, but it said that before coming up with a light bulb, eventually, he had to make thousands of experiments. Very, very, very hard, right? And he was really driven by the utility, right? Now, there is also something called Pasture's quadrant. Louis Pasteur, have you heard about Louis Pasteur? He was a great chemist. He also came up with this technology of pasteurization. Pasteurization is fundamental to everything that we do. Like, milk is pasteurized today, and that is why milk is, delivered to us from the place where it is produced through dairies and all that. Pasteurization is extremely important. So he was a great scientist. At the same time, he was also a person who would apply that science to something that can be used, right? So all these are extremely important. What we need to do is, as students, as you are exploring right now, first you need to gain knowledge, right? And gain knowledge is not mugging up what is there in your books and, sort of regurgitating that in your examination, right? That you will forget immediately, right? Try to understand, right? It's very important that you learn things through experimentation, because that will stay with you forever. First, you need to acquire knowledge. But acquiring knowledge is not sufficient. If you think about it, today we say that we are in the era of knowledge economy. Have you heard this term? Knowledge economy, IT, revolution, information technology, and all that, right? If you go several years ago, before Industrial Revolution, after that also, technology was not the driving force, right? Commerce was not necessarily driven by technology. Really, why United States became what it is, it really surpassed Europe, is because of the entrepreneurship fervor that was there in US. I mean, you have heard of iPhone, right? You have heard of Apple iPhone. I mean, you would like to use Apple iPhone, right? Steve Jobs is one of the great innovators. Oftentimes when we talk of a greatest innovator, we refer to Steve Jobs, right? I mean, he said, I know what people would want and I will innovate that and make sure that the people will use it, right? And that is how his innovative mind was working. And because of these entrepreneurship that happened, entrepreneurship is all about creating value for the knowledge that is already known. You already generated the knowledge. Now can you create value out of that knowledge? Can you convert that knowledge into a product? And that product can sell in the market, right? So if you can do that, that can really be a positive feedback loop. That can, of course, bring a lot of revenue, and you can put that revenue back into the research, because you need to come up with the newer generation of the technology, right? And to do that kind of research, you need money, and that money can be generated only if you also have a successful entrepreneurship, right? So it is not that you can do one and leave the other. And that is why, space entrepreneurship is also becoming extremely important, because going forward, there are a lot of opportunities. And even today, I mean, how do you think, if it was not for satellite communication, we wouldn't have had all these, benefit of internet and, telephone communication and so on and so forth, right? So space technology has come into every aspect of what we do today. Right? So entrepreneurship is extremely important. In fact, again, I'm very glad to say that IISc and ISRO have worked very closely over many, many years. I see there are two pictures here in this auditorium. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, who was the father behind the Indian space program. You probably have seen Rocket Boys. How many of you have seen Rocket Boys? I don't see many hands. This is very surprising. You should go back and all of you must see Rocket Boys, right? It's an amazing, teleserial that you can very easily access on your phones, right? And that really sort of, often it is said that unless things are made into a movie, I'm sure Chandrayaan will be made into a movie very soon, right? Only then it catches the imagination of large number of people and population. I'm saying this because just last week there was a movie that was released. I have not seen that yet. It's called The Vaccine War. When we had a COVID pandemic, if you recall, you have all gone through COVID pandemic under the lockdown. One of the very, very important thing that India as a country did was to invent and come up with our own vaccine, right? Covaxin helped us, immunize the entire population, most of the population in the country. And if you look at the story behind that, making that vaccine, and now that has come as a movie, If possible, you should watch that, right? These are the stories that will inspire young students and younger generation to really say that as a country we are second to none, right? We can actually do better than what other countries have done. And a case in point is Chandrayaan mission, right? The Chandrayaan mission, there are several new technologies that were used for the first time. And also the whole cost of the Chandrayaan mission was just a very small fraction of similar missions that were conducted in other countries, right? Now we look at these possibilities, and that is what we call as a new India, right? We are today country of possibilities. You shouldn't say that, everything will come from the West. The technologies are always created in the West and we are only the users of the technology, right? Gone are the days and you are our future, and I'm sure each one of you and many of you will become great scientists and engineers and entrepreneurs. Would you or not? Yes. Great. I want to say it even louder. I want to hear it even louder. Yes. That's more like it, right? So, one thing I want to say is that whenever you want to start something new, it seems like it's formidable. It's very hard to achieve that, right? Don't worry. It happens to all of us. The only way to do that is take one step at a time, right? Now, today, you resolve that no matter what, you will pursue a career in science, engineering, and innovation. Would you do that today? You have today a lifetime opportunity. You are a very small group of students in this country who have got the opportunity to come to one of the greatest labs in our country. UR Rao Space Center. How many of you know UR Rao? He was also one of the great space scientists, great. I see many hands going up there, right? So you have this great opportunity today. Make the best use of this opportunity. I think, one thing that you can resolve today is that you will earnestly pursue your studies when you go back in science, engineering, and technology. And perhaps some of you may join ISRO labs in future, or come to IISc as students, and perhaps be entrepreneurs of tomorrow, right? All that is possible, all that is eminently possible, and all of that can be done today in India, and in fact in Bangalore. Bangalore is today technology capital of the country, perhaps of the world also, IT capital, knowledge capital, and also entrepreneurship capital. So all of that can be done from Bangalore. This is a great opportunity, and you are actually at the crossroads. You have an amazing, future ahead, right? Technology is changing. Don't get just glued to your cell phone, right? Just looking at, movies and whatnot, playing on cell phones. Go beyond that. Ask the question, how was this cell phone made? How is this content coming to me? Where is this content coming to me? Right? Can I do something better than this? Right? Rather than having a cell phone which you are holding it, can I have a cell phone which is part of my body? Can you think about that? Right? It's possible, right? It's all, how big you can dream. You have to really dream big, right? Whether you achieve those dreams or not, that is secondary. But don't fear to dream big. Unless you dream big, you cannot achieve big things, right? That is the first thing that you have to do. And once you dream big, let it not be a daydream, right? You put in your efforts to go towards that dream, right? Achieve those dreams, right? maybe, something that comes to my mind just to tell you that, things are hard, but if you put your hard efforts, it will happen. These are 4 lines in Kannada, right? It says, Vismayada Vishwadede, Darigala Sulivu. You know what is Vismaya? It's wondrous, wonder, right? Vishwa is the whole universe. Vismayada Vishwadede, that is towards this wondrous world, Darigala Sulivu. There are cues for the paths. Okay? There are only cues. Right? The paths are not given to you. Shodhisire dorakuvudu jnanada holavu. What does it mean? You have to search for it. Right? If you do search with your right intent, you will surely get enlightenment. Okay? Jnanada holavu. But payanadali barabahudu, todakugalu halavu. This journey will have lot of hurdles. Right? It is not a path of roses. Right? It will be path of thorns and roses. There will be ups and downs in your path. That's part of life. Right? Dhrutigedade munnadeye sadhisuve geluvu. Right? So you should not lose courage. You should march forward courageously, and you will certainly achieve that. Right? So the message to you, my young friends, is that we have great opportunities. The greatest example is this lab, which has put us on the moon, which is one of the greatest achievements as Indians we can be proud about. And you can achieve even bigger things. You can help us reach the Mars, right? Or even beyond other planets, right? That is in the context of space. But even looking at the problems that we have on Mother Earth, you can actually help us surmount many of these problems in the future. And I hope that you will march towards that path with all your courage, and wish you all the very best in your future. Thank you again.
In our professional life, when we face problems, technical or otherwise, we turn to our teachers, our professors, for guidance. I feel it was befitting to have an outstanding professor, Dr. Navkant Bhatt, as the chief guest of this function. Thank you, sir, for addressing the young students gathered here. On behalf of the organizing committee, I now request Director URSC to present Professor Navkant Bhatt with a memento. This year, we as a country have achieved a historic milestone by landing a spacecraft near the south pole of the moon. I request our director to present a photo frame of the iconic Chandrayaan landing. Thank you, sir. We have all heard about satellite tracking and data exchange with satellites. I am pleased to share with you all the efforts of Srimati Suman Walke and her team, who organize live demonstrations of satellite tracking all over the state. They have been instrumental in promoting radio technology as an interesting hobby in a form appreciable by school students. It is indeed a great effort to invigorate young minds and motivate them to take up exciting technological careers. Her team also organized a space quiz competition today. I now call upon Controller URSC, Srimati Anjali Ellis Shankar, to distribute the prizes to the young prize winners of today's competition. I request Srimati Suman Walke to coordinate the prize distribution.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, teachers, students, and fellow URSians. Greetings to all on the occasion of World Space Week. This morning we had a session on amateur radio and how to track space objects and satellites. We were able to track Meteor M23 and NOAA 18 satellites, and were also successful in downloading the weather images transmitted by these satellites. We also had a quiz competition for the students, and the much awaited results will be announced. I request our controller madam to give away the prizes. Request the prize winners to come over from this side of the stage, collect your prizes, and wait there on the other side. We'll have a photo shoot after that with all the prize winners. The first prize goes to Namish G. Holla, Class 10, Nargund International School, Bengaluru. Okay. Do we have? Namish G. Holla, Class 10, Nargund International School. Please go. Collect the prize and stand on the other side. It's cool. The second prize goes to Madhav Goyal, Class 7, Indian Public School, Bengaluru. The third prize goes to Sumuk Gowda, Class 7, Indian Public School. There are two consolation prizes. The first one goes to M. Rohit, Class 12, Universal Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Tamil Nadu. The student is from Tamil Nadu. The second consolation prize goes to Navita, Class 12, Universal Matriculation Higher Secondary School. Thank you, madam, for doing the honors. I now request all the prize winners to come over here on the stage for a photo shoot. Please come. I wish to thank the members of the Upagra Amateur Radio Club who were part of this morning session. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, controller, madam. Now I call upon the member secretary. Students, now I call upon the member secretary of World Space Week 2023, Sri Veeresh, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. This inaugural session of World Space Week 2023, I feel it is successful, and it is as expected, like our satellite launch. To make it happen, many have contributed directly or indirectly. So on behalf of this organizing committee, I would like to thank everyone who contributed in this. So on behalf of our committee, we thank our beloved director, Shankaran sir, for his constant encouragement and guidance to organize this entire event as well as the complete week program. Our chief guest, Professor Navakant Bhatt, honored us by accepting our request and graced this occasion with his presence and enlightening talk. We thank you, sir. We thank our controller URSC for necessary guidance and support for the conduct of this program. We thank Sri H.N. Suresh Kumar for leading this organizing team and guiding the team at every instant. I put my sincere thanks to DTDF, canteen stores, purchase, accounts, administration and PRO teams for making this event successful. This day, today, we began with satellite tracking demonstration and conduct of space quiz. I thank Mrs. Suman Walke and her team for conducting that event and then distribution of the prizes. We put our thanks to PPG, CIG and MDOG teams for necessary supports in execution of this event and the live telecast what is happening. The special thanks to all the students and teachers for being part of this program and making this event lively. I thank one and all who contributed directly or indirectly to make this event successful. I thank you all. We have one surprise program here that will be telecasted now.
I have an announcement to make. On the occasion of World Space Week 2023, URSC and All India Radio, Bangalore, is jointly organizing a radio program exploring the space from 4th of October to 10th of October 2023. Today, as an inaugural talk, Director URSC, Sri Shankaran sir, spoke about the theme Space and Entrepreneurship, Bahyakasha Mattu Udyamashilate, which was broadcast at 3 p.m. today. We are happy to present here an audio recording of the same.
ಸಮಯವಾಗಿದೆ ಸ್ಟುಡಿಯೋ ಕ್ಲಾಕ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 3:13 ನಾವಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನದ 3 ಗಂಟೆಯ ವಿಶೇಷ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ. ಹೌದು, ಇಂದು ವಿಶೇಷ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂಥ ವಿಶೇಷ ಅಂತ ಇನ್ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಕೇಳಿ. 2023 ವಿಶ್ವ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಸಪ್ತಾಹದ ಪ್ರಯುಕ್ತ UR-ರಾವ್ ಉಪಗ್ರಹ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಇಸ್ರೋ ಹಾಗೂ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ 101.3 FM ಜಂಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಹಮ್ಮಿಕೊಂಡಿರುವ ವಿಶೇಷ ಪ್ರಾಯೋಜಿತ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಅಂತರಿಕ್ಷದ ಅನಾವರಣ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಪ್ರಾಯೋಜಕರು UR-ರಾವ್ ಉಪಗ್ರಹ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಇಸ್ರೋ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು. ಇಂದಿನಿಂದ ಅಕ್ಟೋಬರ್ 10ರವರೆಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ 3 ರಿಂದ 4 ಗಂಟೆಯವರೆಗೆ ವಿಶೇಷ ರಸಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಆರಂಭ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಿ UR-ರಾವ್ ಉಪಗ್ರಹ ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರಾದಂಥ ಶ್ರೀ ಎಂ ಶಂಕರನ್ ಅವರಿಂದ ಈ ಸಪ್ತಾಹದ ಧ್ಯೇಯವಾದ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಮತ್ತು ಉದ್ಯಮಶೀಲತೆ ಕುರಿತಾದ ಆರಂಭಿಕ ಭಾಷಣ. ನಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಸಂಬಂಧಿತ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಕೇಳುಗರು ಉತ್ತರಿಸಿ ಆಕರ್ಷಕ ಬಹುಮಾನ ಗೆಲ್ಲಬಹುದು. ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರತಿ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಕಳುಹಿಸಿದ ಮೊದಲ 2 ಕೇಳುಗರಿಗೆ ಆಕರ್ಷಕ ಬಹುಮಾನ ಗೆಲ್ಲುವ ಅವಕಾಶವಿದೆ. ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಕಳುಹಿಸಿದ ಕೇಳುಗರ ಹೆಸರನ್ನ ಕೊನೆಯ ದಿನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಕ್ಟೋಬರ್ 10ರಂದು ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ 3 ಗಂಟೆಯ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಕಟಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಸ್ರೋ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ವಿಜೇತರನ್ನ ಸಂಪರ್ಕಿಸಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಿಳಾಸಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹುಮಾನವನ್ನ ತಲುಪಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಕೇಳಿ UR-ರಾವ್ ಉಪಗ್ರಹ ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಎಂ ಶಂಕರನ್ ಅವರಿಂದ ಆರಂಭಿಕ ಭಾಷಣ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ನಾನು ಶಂಕರನ್, UR-ರಾವ್ ಉಪಗ್ರಹ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕ. ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ವಿಶ್ವ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಸಪ್ತಾಹದ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು. ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷದಂತೆ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ವಿಶ್ವ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಸಪ್ತಾಹ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ವೀಕ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅಕ್ಟೋಬರ್ 4ರಿಂದ 10ನೇ ತಾರೀಕುವರೆಗೆ ಆಚರಿಸುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಈ ಬಾರಿಯ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ವೀಕಿನ ಥೀಮ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಂಟ್ರಪ್ರಿನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಮತ್ತು ಉದ್ಯಮಶೀಲತೆ. ಈ ಧ್ಯೇಯದ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ವೃಂದ ಮತ್ತು ಯುವಜನತೆಯನ್ನು ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಸಂಬಂಧಿಸಿದ ಉದ್ಯಮದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹಿಸುವುದು. ಇಂದಿನ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಸಂಬಂಧಿ ಉದ್ಯಮದ ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆಯ ಗಾತ್ರ ಸುಮಾರು $560 ಬಿಲಿಯನ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ 50 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾರತದ ಪಾಲು ಕೇವಲ 2% ಮಾತ್ರ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿಗಳು. ಈ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಯನ್ನು 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೋಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸಲು ಸಾಧ್ಯವಿದೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಸಂಬಂಧಿಸಿದ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ಸಿನ ಗಾತ್ರ 10% ಗಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಅಪ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಉಳಿದಿದ ಡೌನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ವೇರ್, ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ಸಿನ ಗಾತ್ರ 90%. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಭಾರತದ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಸಂಬಂಧಿ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಪಾಲನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಕೆಟ್ಗಳನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಡೌನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಆದ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ವೇರ್, ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸಬಹುದು. ಇಂದಿನ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 3ನ ಯಶಸ್ಸಿನ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ವೃಂದಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವ ಅಭಿರುಚಿ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಈ ಗುರಿಯನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೈನ್ಸ್, ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ, ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾಥಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ವಿಷಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಪರಿಣಿತಿ ಪಡೆಯುವುದು ಅಗತ್ಯ. ಇದರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷಗಳಂತೆ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಕೂಡ ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಮೂಲಕ ಮುಂದಿನ 6 ದಿನಗಳು ಕೆಲವು ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶದ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ನೀಡಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಶೃಂಖಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ 3, ಆದಿತ್ಯ L1 ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಡಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್, ನಾಸಾ ಇಸ್ರೋ ಸಿಂಥೆಟಿಕ್ ಅಪರ್ಚರ್ ರಡಾರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಗಗನಯಾನದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ನೀಡಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಮತ್ತು ಯುವಜನರು ಸದುಪಯೋಗ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕಂತ ನನ್ನ ವಿನಂತಿ. ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕೇಳುಗರಿಗೆ ವಿಶ್ವ ಬಾಹ್ಯಾಕಾಶ ಸಪ್ತಾಹದ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಜೈ ಹಿಂದ್.
UR-ರಾವ್ ಉಪಗ್ರಹ ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಎಂ ಶಂಕರನ್ ಅವರಿಂದ ಈ ಸಪ್ತಾಹದ ಧ್ಯೇಯವಾದ.
With this, we have now come to the end of the program. Please give a round of applause to all the dignitaries present on stage. I have a few announcements to make for the teachers and the students, but please be seated while the dignitaries leave the stage. A round of applause, please. So first to the teachers, we have goodie bags which we would like to distribute to you all. The teachers, I request you all to collect them from our coordinators here at the front rows, please. And to the students and everyone else also, we have high tea arranged outside, and we would like you all to leave in an orderly fashion to have tea. So first, the teachers to come and collect the goodie bags at the front rows. Please be seated, students.